What's up, everybody? This is Eugenio from Sanremo Coffee Machine. Today we're going to show you how to change the burrs on the SR series grinders. As you can see, we need some tools: the M4 Allen key, a flathead screwdriver, scraper, stir stick, paper towel, brush, and a vacuum. So here we are. So the first thing you want to do is remove the safety switch from the grinder. Now it's got two Allen keys, one on each side. And as you can see, just twist them off and they come right out. Now you want to get the switch out, twist it down, and now you can remove the collar from the top by just rotating. I removed some beans. I just want to show you that even if you leave some beans inside, it's okay. We can vacuum those beans out. As you can see, there's some buildup on the burrs. And before you start vacuuming, make sure that you remove the springs. It's very common for other people to vacuum without removing the springs, and then the springs end up inside the vacuum. You gotta dig it out. So remove the springs before you go ahead with that. The other thing that you wanted to remove is also the little lock right there. And there's a spring inside the little lock. So make sure that when you're vacuuming, you're not going into the small hole where the lock goes. As you can see, we're just gonna go in there and try to remove some of the buildup. I'm going with a screwdriver. Don't have to be worried about the burrs because they need to be changed. So even if I hit them or something, it's totally fine. You don't want to hit the side, and that's why I use a wooden stir stick. And I'm using the wooden stir stick to clean the thread part. It's very important that you don't damage the thread parts, because that would mean that the whole grinder would need to be changed. Like, you can't rethread the whole grinder. Use some paper towel to just wipe down the build-up oils all around. As you can see, there's quite a bit of oils on there. Try to get the most you can. When you clean the threads, rotate in the same direction towards the opening of the spring, and then you can just vacuum inside the opening of the springs, any of the grounds that got in there. It's very important. It's very, very clean. Then now the step is to just remove the 3 screws that hold the grinder. What you can do is I'm using the stir stick. I put the stir stick a little bit inside the hole where the coffee is supposed to exit, so that when you rotate the burrs, the stir stick will sit on one of the 3 little wings that are there to wipe the coffee down that opening. Make sure you don't push the stir stick more than about like half inch, like 5 millimeters, because there is a comb further down, and you run into the problem might damage the comb. So here we are. Now we're taking the screws out. You can also request to get 3 new screws if you like, whenever you purchase your burrs, if you think your screws are being stripped in the usage in time. Maybe you take them out too many times. So here we are. Now to remove the burrs, by using the scraper, I'm using the angle scraper, and I stick it in the opening, in the hole of the screw that goes underneath it, because there's a little bit of space in between there. So I put the scraper in there, I force a little bit, and then I put the screwdriver on the outside. As you can see, I'm just prying it slowly, going all around. There's a lot of oils that glue the burrs down, so you want to just kind of slowly take it out without damaging anything. You can see there's some buildup around the burrs. So now that we did that, and the burrs are out, now with our trusted stir stick, we start cleaning up again around the burr carrier. It is a brass piece, so you just want to be careful and not scratch it too much. So that's why I'm using the stir stick. Stir stick, it's wood, very soft, removes the oil, doesn't really scratch. We are eventually going to use a scraper to do the corners, because we want it to like really clean very, very deep. You don't want any buildup in there. You don't want the burrs to be sitting at an angle. Otherwise, your coffee is going to be, out of whack. Like, what happened is the ground distribution is going to be totally off. You're going to have a lot of fines and some coarse, or vice versa. Like, it's not going to be a good balance where you can have a good extraction of coffee. So here we go. Now we're cleaning the edges. It's very important because the burrs sit right in there. These are self-aligning burrs. So you don't need to do any other step to like make sure that they're in line in any way, as long as you clean everything. That's all you got to do. Make sure everything is just spotless, spick and span. You see, we're also cleaning the 3 little wings. The burrs do sit near that as well. So you want to make sure that everything is out of the way. There's a lot of oils, like I said, and everything needs to come out so that the burrs can sit nice and flat and give you the best outcome possible. Don't be scared to use your vacuum. Just get in there, vacuum everything you can, as much as you can. Here we are. We're also like cleaning a little bit inside the opening of the spring. Make sure that any build up, so also the spring, they sit nice and flat, and there's no too much tension on one spring more than the other. Here we are. Now we're ready to place the burrs, put them in there. Make sure like, yeah, they feel pretty free around the carrier. Okay, align it with the holes. Here we are. Now we get the screws. Make sure that where you put the screwdriver is nice and clean. The worst thing is if you put a screwdriver in a dirty screw, then it's going to strip. It's not going to be able to grab properly. So here we are. So when the screw must have had still a little bit of buildup. We were lucky enough it didn't skip on us when we were trying to take it out. And now we put them in. So you just screw them in to the end. No pressure the first time. Then you start giving a little bit of pressure. Go around. The other one, alternate. There you go. Here we are. You probably ask how much pressure is enough pressure. You just have to feel good that it's nice and snug in there. Now the other side, the top part, remove the 2. You see how hard it was. It's supposed to move very freely. There's a lot of grease on there that is like old. You see that white is all like old dried up grease. So what we want to do, we want to remove the build-up oils from the coffee. Just keep our work surface clean. That way when we're putting things back, we're not going to have like dirty components. If we don't clean around, then we're going to put the clean part on top of the grounds, and then the grounds are going to stick to it, and then we're going to have, offline burrs, and things are just not going to fit properly. As you can see, we want to clean inside the opening so that our screwdriver can go in and won't skip, and we won't ruin the head of the screw. Here we are. Take the 3 screws out. Put them in a place where they're safe. Don't lose them. Really need to put 3 screws back in. You cannot do without the 3. You can see there's quite a bit of buildup underneath it. That is normal. Just vacuuming it right up. Clean everything. Yeah, clean the old ones too if you got to keep them there, because otherwise you can dirty your work surface. And then with a paper towel, just wipe everything down. This is an aluminum piece, it's not coated. So best thing is just wipe it with a cloth. The oil kind of works as a protector. As you can see, it's nice and shiny. There's not too much wear and tear in that piece. And now this guy. Now this guy, the flange, is the one that you use to actually adjust the thickness of the coffee by moving the burrs up and down. When you clean this, you really need to be extra careful, because you got the brass collar, the gold collar part. That part is where the threads are, and that needs to be spotless. Like, I cannot emphasize enough how spotless that needs to be, because you don't want to try to put that on and then have a hard time and then remove it. You're probably going to have to remove it the first time you do this. I did set that up this video that we are going to remove it a little bit later, so that you can see that there's no issue. If you try to put it in, you find it a little bit hard and you got to remove it. As you can see, I'm putting a lot of pressure onto the paper towel, and I'm rotating in one direction only, so that I grab the dirt and I make my way all around it until it comes out. Now this video is moving quite fast, it's maybe hard to tell, but I was rotating in one direction. And when I could, I also tried to use my nails through the paper to go into the threads and try to push out any build-up grease that there is in there, grease and coffee oils that have attached to the thread. I'm going to try to clean up the whole flange, make sure that there is no old grease on the inside and on the outside as well. It's a laborious job. As you can see, we try to keep the video, we're moving it fast, but we keep the whole video because we really want to show that it is something that it needs time. So like take your time, clean it. This video is 15 minutes, but probably to do this job, it will take you about an hour. And that's just normal, just the way it is. It's fine. So make sure that when you're doing this, you have enough time to be able to clean everything. It's all about the cleaning. The changing the burrs is really 6 screws. So that's like the easiest part per se, is making sure that everything goes back properly. As you can see, it's just shiny, clean. And that's what you want. You want exactly that, nice and shiny. Let's get the screw, make sure that all the grounds are out of the head. Here we are, using a trusted scraper. Everything nice and clean. There we are. Bang it a little bit so that anything that it was lodging inside the screw head falls out. And then clean your surface. Here we are. Vacuum a little bit the thread, just extra security. And now we get some food grade grease. Make sure that you're using food grade grease. Don't use anything that you get from an automotive store. Those are not good for your health. This is a food grade. It's almost like a mayonnaise. You could eat it. It wouldn't do anything to you. You put it onto the threads where you need it mainly, and also you're gonna put it. I'll show you in a second on the flange where the two components slide with each other. I'm just cleaning a little bit more, making sure that everything is spotless. Here we are, putting it in. Everything's sliced nicely. Put the 3 screws. Kind of like just finger tight it a little bit as far as you can go. The screwdriver, you push it to the end. Don't tight it. Just push them to the end, and then once you have all 3, then you start tightening them one by one, just rotating little by little, more and more. That way you got a nice flat surface, and you're sure that your burrs are gonna sit flat. Once you do that, then we can make sure that we get nice grease on it. There, put it on the flange, and then on the other flange. Now, when I put it in there, when you push it on the 2 together, it's gonna smear some grease on the outside. So just wipe it down, just like that. There we go. Now we want to make sure that remove the little lever. Make sure that the switch is facing the back, in line with one of the springs holes. So here we are. The springs are already in the grinder. The lock is right there. Everything is there. Here we are. So the switch in line with the spring. So you see now. Make sure that those 2 in line. Now I'm rotating backwards first, so towards coarseness, grosso. And that is because, so I'm rotating backwards and I'm pushing down because I want to hear a click. When I hear that click, it means that I found the beginning of the thread. And when that happens, then I'll screw back in and I'll follow the fine. As you can see, I removed it because as I was pushing in, I felt it was too hard. So now I go in and with my scraper, I try to clean those inside threads a little bit more. So I scrape it, I vacuum it, make sure like everything is out of the way. You want to make sure there's nothing left around, flying around, grounds flying around is not good. Again, make sure that the switch is in line so that everything goes perfect. And the springs are in. Here we are. Remove a little lever shaft, rotate the opposite way, so grosso, until you feel the click. As you're rotating, push down. That's how you'll hear the click. And then once you hear the click, you kind of go a little bit further before you start screwing it in. Now this thread is backwards, as you can see it. So to undo it, you're rotating clockwise, and to tighten it in, you're rotating counterclockwise. Here we are. So as you can see, that's counterclock. And now it's engaging. So I got one hand, I got to push down the lock, and the other hand, I got to rotate. Stop every once in a while. I kind of feel the burrs. Are the burrs turning? See? Yeah, now they're turning. On the right, now they're turning again. Here we are. Now they're locked. So now I know that I need to go back one quarter of a turn. Here we are. So now that is factory settings. So once you put your coffee in, you're gonna have to try to tweak the grinder based upon your coffee with your machine. And put the 2 screws in for the safety switch. Make sure that that goes right in there good. We don't want anybody to put their hands in there when the grinder is running. But even if you don't put the switch in, truthfully, the machine is not going to activate. It's the hopper to activate that switch. And that's it for us. Thank you for watching and see you next time. If you have any question, please don't hesitate to call us or email us at geniusequipment.com. That's our website. Thank you again and see you next time. Bye-bye.